This is Nick Millevoi from Premier Guitar, and I'm here to tell you about something I never thought I'd be talking about, and that's to tell you about this pedal that I just built. The idea of building a pedal has always seemed really out of reach for me. I have a very basic skill set when it comes to any sort of electronic stuff. I've never ever imagined that I could put together a pedal of my own. I would look at kits on the internet and think, all this stuff seems really complicated. StewMac are aiming to make pedal kits more accessible to people. From their site, they look simple enough, so I thought, what if I give it a shot? Can somebody with no building skills actually make one of these kits? I didn't think it was possible. Admittedly, I didn't think that I would have the skills to do it, but here it is. So in this video, I'm gonna walk you through what it was like to actually build this kit and some of the things I ran into, some of the things I figured out along the way, and what it felt like to actually plug this in and get it going. So before I do that though, please remember to like this video and subscribe to our channel. So I went over to StewMac's site and I was able to look at pictures of all the kits, which was really important because I could see how many parts each one had. And I decided I would start with the least amount of parts. I decided on the Sun Fuzz, which you can see is their take on a fuzz face. They call it their upgraded fuzzy face classic. A fuzz face circuit basically with a bias trim pot, which sounded like that would be a fun addition. Here's everything that's included in the kit. Everything's nicely labeled and bagged up, though when I opened it, I wasn't so intimidated. It felt like there was an organization, there was a method, even if I didn't understand what everything did. So one of the big hurdles for me to even considering building pedals was that I don't have the tools and I don't have a dedicated workspace. So first I had to decide where I was gonna do this. So I decided to do it just sitting at my desk. I'm taking a big risk because if it goes wrong, I'm just gonna have this big mess to clean up and it's all gonna be in the way of getting any other work done. So I jumped into that. The other thing is that I don't have any tools to do any of this stuff with. Outside of a screwdriver to open the enclosure and a soldering iron that isn't particularly good, I don't have anything to get started. But StewMac has a pedal building tool set, and I got that and I set that up on my desk and I had all my pieces ready. It's really more than I even needed to do this pedal, but I imagined they would come in handy for other pedals. So I was really prepared with just having that pedal building tool set. Once I laid that out on my desk, I dug in. So getting things started was pretty easy, and honestly, I felt like things were going pretty well. I just followed the instructions, I did exactly what it said, and I had all the parts laid out per step, and it really wasn't that hard. It felt kind of like doing Legos in a way. I was just building this thing piece by piece. As I got in a little bit deeper, it started to feel really good because I started to identify parts and started to realize I was learning things. I just finished my pedal. Here's what it looks like on the inside. I'm gonna put it together and plug it in. So once I was finished, I was feeling really good. I plug everything in, powers up, lights up, got the amp on, and I go to play a chord and it sounds really weak. I messed with the trim pots, I messed with the controls, it's not going anywhere. I can't get much of a sound. The only sound I'm really getting is with it like totally cranked up, and even then it's like a volume cut thing. So my clean tone is louder than the fuzz tone, which I know is totally not the deal. So I know that something's wrong. This is a problem with being a beginner, is that I open it back up and it still just looks exactly the same, nothing caught on fire, nothing melted. So I don't know what to do. Obviously I work for Premier Guitar and StewMac knows what we're doing, but when I ran into trouble, I really didn't know who to write to and talk to about this. So I just looked at the instructions and there was this tech support email on the back. And I decided that I was gonna reach out to them like I was anybody else. I didn't use my work email or anything like that. I wrote them from a personal email and just said, hey guys, I'm building this pedal, can you help me? And that's what they say they will do. And sure enough, like within an hour or so, I got an email back from Devin at StewMac Technical Support, and he asked me for a couple very specific pictures. He wanted to take a look at my circuit. He became my pedal building pen pal for the next day or so after this. And we went back and forth. He'd tell me stuff to check on. I looked at my soldering joints to clean things up. In the end, actually, we ended up deciding that I probably broke something. I probably burnt out one of the components. They said, we'll replace the kit for you. I thought this was super cool because this is a pretty inexpensive kit, but you know, if you write to them and you're having a problem, you get customer service like you have this expensive product that that you're working on. And I thought that that was really going above and beyond what I ever expect from any customer service. So kudos to StewMac for really helping out with that. The second time now, I actually felt like really encouraged because I knew I could always get help. I had somebody on the other end of the line that was gonna help me. So even if they hadn't offered that and I had to buy another kit, like I would have felt really good about like, I got a pedal building lesson. I get into the second one, I set up my space again, and I just dig right in, and it was so familiar this time that I kind of just blew through it. I don't even know if it took 2 hours. I knew what went where, and I was much more careful about my soldering iron. I was much more careful about the temperature my soldering iron was set to, which I think honestly may have been my problem. And I was just more careful about how long I held the soldering iron on components. So I built it and I just thought, this thing's gonna work. And I plug it in, and sure enough, I felt so good because, for one thing, I was relieved that I actually got it working. And that was just the coolest thing. The other thing is that it just sounded so awesome. I really like fuzz faces. I don't have a fuzz face. So when I plugged this in and it actually sounded like the real deal, that was just too cool. There you have it. I built a pedal. I learned so much in the process too. I do feel like I need to make a lot more pedals. I don't know, we'll see if I do, but I definitely have plans to make more StewMac kits, and we'll see where it goes from there. But I think if I can do it, really any guitar player who's been messing around just a little bit with their guitars should not feel dissuaded from getting a kit and just getting going. And I would say that the StewMac Sun Fuzz is a really great place to start. And I think that, you know, my experience should show you that they're there, they got your back. You can go into this and feel like somebody's gonna help you out. Somebody's gonna make sure that you succeed. They want you to build this pedal correct. And I think that is just the coolest thing.